Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. We are changing lives one woman at a time. We're changing the world one woman at a time, and I'm your host, Cynthia James. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that I get to introduce you to women who are just like you, who have dreams and desires and are making the difference on the planet in their own ways. So these little mini interviews get to invite you into possibility. Today, my guest is Stephanie Williams. She's a freedom and a nutritional coach. I have known her for quite some time. She's a blessing on this planet, and I call her a healer. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that you're here. So I want to, you have a very interesting life because there's this full-time job that's legal secretary for how many years?
30 plus years.
And she's only 20 people. Okay, just kidding.
I love that, right?
But here's the thing. She also has gone through a nutritional coaching program. She's gone through my freedom coaching program. And she is in the process of creating and evolving into her next iteration. So talk to us about this balance that's going on.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I've had to balance the full-time job. I also have an autoimmune condition that requires me to take care of myself probably a little more special way than what a quote-unquote normal person would do. So I've discovered that there are certain things I need to do as well, along with balancing the full-time work schedule to maintain my health. And the good thing is that it's just an autoimmune condition. I don't have any diagnosis anymore. It used to be Hashimoto's. It's not anymore. That's healed. That's pretty much healed. And because of the work that I've done. And so I'm here to help other women do the same thing because it's possible to heal. And it's possible to look at this thing from I guess from a side of transformation as opposed to, oh, what do I have to do to get well? No, what do we have to do to transform is how I look at it, because that's what happened to me as I was going through the things that I had to do to get better. So that's, I'm not sure I answer all of your question. You can.
Yeah, no, that was great. But
Okay.
this is interesting. So the autoimmune, is that what ushered you into the nutritional coaching program?
Exactly. I got curious about what I needed to eat. I have a science background, so that's why I just naturally investigate things. But I wanted to know how to eat better. And what it led me on was just the kind of doctors that I went to changed, the food that I ate changed. I eliminated quite a few things from my diet. But once you eliminate, you find out there's a whole nother area of food you can eat from, believe it or not. And so I don't feel deprived at all. And I also found out about moving energy through the body. Energy healing is huge for autoimmune. And there's also the emotional component. So what I discovered is that it can't be treated just physically. We're not just physical beings. We're spiritual beings, we're emotional beings, and we have to look at all of that when we're healing from autoimmune issues. And so those are the things that help me to get to the place where I'm at now. So I'm kind of more in maintenance state right now in maintaining my health, and I'm able to do everything that I want to do. I just make sure that I'm getting enough rest, taking care of my emotions, taking care of my diet, that type of thing, to keep going at the pace that I want to go.
Right. I totally get that. So what's interesting to me, though, is that same life experience that led you into the nutritional program led you into the freedom coaching to deal with the emotions, right?
Right.
Did you grow up in a family that was inquisitive about this stuff?
Not at all. I had to find all that out by myself. Oh Yeah, it's interesting. That's actually one way I know that that spirit led me on this path because I was placed in places where people came along that could help me. One of them being you, Cynthia, and that I've found through the the health coaching program that I went through, and I was able to come to Cynthia for the emotional side of coaching that I needed, which I actually it impressed me so much that that's why I ended up going through her freedom coaching program. So so those all of those things they came together, they helped me, but that's pretty much what I had to do in order to get to where I needed to be.
So, there's a lot of women listening who have full-time jobs. They have other desires, they have other dreams, and I always say that those full-time jobs are the investors in our future. So,
Yeah.
so for you, how do you balance being in excellence in this job and then building this other life that you're passionate about?
A lot of it is scheduling. Actually, I think that's the biggest thing is looking at the calendar and saying, okay, I know that this is what I want to do. And also just being pretty clear about what each person is different. You have to be clear about what it is you need to do to maintain your health. I know I need to be at work certain hours of the day. I know I want to get to some exercise certain hours of the week. I know that I want to work on, the Reiki, the coaching, those types of things during, certain days of the week. So it's all scheduling and balancing. And it's that sometimes actually my weeks look different from week to week, depending on what's going on. So that's how I do it. Just by, timing, scheduling. I love to tango dance. I have to schedule that in. I don't go as often as I'd like to, but I get there. And so mainly it's all about scheduling I have a meetup that, I do once a month. So that's only once a month because that's when I can schedule it in. So that's how I do it. I schedule it in and I make sure in between I'm getting the rest that I need.
Right. I did the same thing when I was working for the corporation as I was going to school because I needed to have that training. And then I was scheduled in the things that I could do that brought me joy. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that if you are working a full-time job and you have a passion to know that you don't have to take a quantum leap. You can just go step by step. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Brick by brick. Yes.
So, what do you think is the biggest challenge that you experience in your life right now?
The schedule. I want to do it all at once. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm even looking at this weekend. I wanted to go on a hike, but it's going to be at least 6 hours out of my Saturday. I can't do
Right.
it.
Right.
So I'll have to go to the next one and that type of thing. So yeah, it's prioritizing. I think it's sometimes hard for me. Sometimes I end up doing too much because I didn't prioritize, and I look back at my weekend. I'm like, wait a minute, I should have been doing such and such and so. So yeah, it's the biggest challenge is the schedule, which is why I have to write stuff down, put it in the calendar, make sure it makes sense. Make sure that I'm not taking 6 hours out of because I cook my meals. I do meal prep pretty much every weekend. I'm doing meal prep. I got to set that time aside to make all of my. I've put like 5 or 6 meals at one time, so I've got to set that time aside. Because when having the autoimmune, I need whole, clean food without a lot of things in it. My body's really sensitive, so it's just basically the schedule is the challenge.
Well, and I get it, and I tell my clients, that calendar is for you too.
Yeah.
And start with you and start with your priorities. I mean, I think it's something that we all have to learn.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, what do you think women are struggling with the most today?
Again, the schedule only because And especially when you have young children, my kids are grown now, but I just really, when I look back on, you got to get to the grocery store, you have to feed the kids, they have to be straight, before you're shopping, not just food, clothes, which a lot of it you can do online now, which is great. House cleaning, working full time, doctor appointments. It's a lot, and so I think it's probably more of a struggle. I think for moms with growing children to get that time in for themselves. Maybe we need a community where we can just have a bunch of moms come together and each one takes care. This is my weekend. I'll take care of your kid. Something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is just trying to get it all in and getting it all done and getting it all done well.
Right.
Is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I think you're right about, young moms with children, but I think it's for us in general. I think we haven't been enculturated to take care of ourselves, to put
Right.
ourselves first, to find
Right.
time for ourselves. And so
Yeah.
I think women are really trying to find what's the balance
Yeah.
between being loving and present and caring
Mhm.
for others and caring for self.
Yes, definitely.
Mm.
And I think once you make that self-care a priority and you stick to it, then it becomes part of your life. You don't have to think about it anymore. It's like that this time is my time.
Mhm.
So I think it's just really important to understand that you need that time and just schedule it in. And once you get into the flow of it, that's your time.
Yeah.
It may come off, you know, once or twice from time to time, but I think it's just knowing that that's a priority and knowing that your health, your physical, emotional, and spiritual health depends on it. Then I think,
Mhm.
yeah, you'll get it done.
Absolutely. So tell us how to find you. What's your website?
My website is www.stephaniejoywilliams.com. And you can also find me on Instagram. I'm at Stephanie Joy Williams.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So listen, people, she is a healer in the making. So you definitely want to just tap in there. The last thing I want to ask you is, what do you want women to know about awakening? What's the one thing you want them to remember about their awakening and the importance of their awakening?
The first word that comes to me is support. Um, we don't come onto this path by ourselves. Um, we get here by support. We're supported by the universe, by our ancestors, because we're here to change something. And so, and then we reach out for support. Um, so that's really the thing that I want women to know is that we're we're here to support each other. You can find us and you can find me. I just told you how to find me. Um, but there are many people out here supporting those of us on the awakening path, and all you have to do is reach out. You'll be guided to women who can support you, and so that's really, I think, the biggest thing, because you need it. I need it. I still get it, and so I think support is the biggest thing right now for those of us on the awakening path.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm so grateful that you said that, and I'm so grateful for who you are and what
Thank
you
you.
bring to the planet. Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me.
So, ladies, um, listen, Stephanie is an example. She's not an exception. She and the women that I interview here are examples of what you can do one step at a time to step into your greatness, to be your most powerful, most dynamic, most loving, most creative self. Please come back time and time to Women Awakening and listen to the podcast. These are like mini bites. These are this little mini interviews where women get to show you that they are a possibility, and so are you. I'm so grateful for you. I know you're dynamic. I know you matter. I know you're important. And I'm so grateful that I get to walk this path with you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.